So, this is my quick and skinny review on Masters of the Universe Revolution. I just want to point this out and talk about it. I'm not going to really give any spoilers. I'll say this before I even go into anything. If you are 100% agitated against, don't want to give the view to Kevin Smith for all the crap he pulled with like Clownfish and all that stuff, and he kind of just showed his ass pretty much, of like, who he truly is or anything like that, fine. I am not telling you to. I understand why. I've kind of gotten that way with certain things as well, where I just won't consume it anymore. So I 100% understand if you're like, I'm not watching this because of what happened and the bait switch. I had a morbid curiosity, to be honest with you. So I wanted to say, like I said, no really heavy spoiler. It might be a little light just talking. I can't remember the character's name. Wait, it's Andra. I'm thinking I'm trying to remember the character's name. I do remember the character's name. She had a couple moments where it reminded me of Riri Williams from the comic books. So, for example, without going into detail, she kind of does this thing where she goes, and I did this, and I did this, and I also did this, and I did this because I'm awesome. I did this, and I did this. Do you not understand that I'm awesome? Because I also did this, and I also did that, and she's the cause of a major problem, but then they're like throwing her into another place of where she's going to be and who the character is, and I kind of felt like they were trying to really push her to face. Now, that being said, if I remember correctly, Tiffany Smith voice acts her. I really like Tiffany Smith. I've liked her hosting. I've liked stuff. I want her in more things. She did a good job with the voice acting too. It's just, I feel like they're trying to really push that character. Like, oh, she's the man at arms, and then they got the other guy, War at Arms. But if you've seen the thing, but it's like, cool, I get it. She's really smart and she has certain things. I get it. You want her to be the bestest of the bestest. I get it. It wasn't to the point of it was so annoying that it took me out of the show. It was just annoying enough because they were pushing it so hard. I do think Melissa Benoist and her husband, when she was Supergirl and he was the Daxamite and stuff, I actually do think that those two chemistry definitely worked. And with Sarah Michelle Gellar, I don't know, something about Tila just felt just agitated all the time. And this one, it felt like she was more in tune, and I kind of figured that the voice was her like coming into her own as a sorceress. The voice acting cast, very strong. William Shatner, great. My boy Keith, anytime that dude does something, it's just awesome. And him being Hordak was cool. So that is there. They kind of got away from the queer baiting thing. They got to a point with He-Man and Tila where it was getting kind of close to, yeah, guys are kind of pushing this a little too hard. You're overcorrecting a little too hard, but they kept it in enough that it wasn't. It was just that by the end, I was like, okay, if you guys can't get to here, it's going to get ridiculous, but they did. So that's okay. There's some hokey stuff in it too. Some old school out like 80s stuff and certain things where it's like, there. So I'm just giving you these prefaces of what to expect. Now, outside of that, and these weren't bad either. It was just, I'm just giving you the curb your expectation. It does feel a little bit like 80s. Like some of the stuff feels a little bit corny. Like I know people like to say cringe all the time and cringy, and not everything's cringe. I really wish we would get away from that. Sometimes something is just corny, but it was fun corny. That being said, now this one, Revolution, was leaps and bounds better than the first two. The second half of the first season, or the second season, whatever the heck it is, that was better, but still kind of eh. This one was good. Now, I seen Kevin Smith do the thing of, oh, we're in the top 10. And I'm like, dude, this is your third attempt at this to get this to actually be good. Don't pat yourself in the back too hard. Just, I mean, hey, it's really cool that you were able to finally get it right. And I'm glad. And this is someone who still watched Clerks 3 and was waiting all the years, and I was not heavily disappointed with Clerks 3. I felt like some of the things were a little too big on the nose, but overall, it worked. So, I watched this and I saw the first episode. I really liked the first episode. I'm like, I even told my boy that. And I was like, you know what? Let me watch this all the way through and then I'll be able to review. I would have did this before, but the Royal Rumble was on and I was busy and I was all about Royal Rumble. But watching this, I'm like, man, I watched the next episode. I'm expecting the other shoe to drop. I'm like, this is actually pretty good. And I have to say, it was way more focused. It's what we wanted. Now, for all the people who keep going, they call it Masters of the Universe and not He-Man. Stay! Okay. So if any of you are nerds and you're saying this stupid, weak argument, yes, it's a stupid argument. I'm going to do something for those nerds. If I think of something else for the, I guess, more other casual people, I will. But, alright. When you think of Detective Comics, I guarantee I will put dollars to donuts that your thought goes to who's in Detective Comics. Your head's going to go to, oh, it's Batman comic. If I go Action Comics, you're going to go Superman. Batman has his own title. Superman has his own title. Yeah, so people do this thing with Masters of the Universe. I'm like, okay, Detective Comics had Speed Saunders and Slam Bradley. Detective Comics wasn't just a Batman title. It was about hard-boiled detectives. Yet, if you say Detective Comics, people immediately think, oh, that's Batman. That's Batman's title. Or with Action Comics, what? There was like Vigilante, Zatara was in it. One dude, I think he became American Commando later. He had a name before that. I can't remember the name before that right now. But American Commando, like, these characters were there before, like, Superman. And I remember, like, originally Superman was, like, a bald dude with telepathy. I think it was the Schusters did before they, like, changed it over to what if he was a good guy kind of thing. So, but when you think of Action Comics now, you think of Superman. Now, have they in the last few years done some things that still are adjacent to those characters? Like Detective Comics for a bit, which I did actually enjoy, was before they ruined Tim Drake, was Tim Drake. It was Clayface, Batwoman, and they had like this group that was like that I thought was a really cool idea to get Detective Comics away from Batman, but yet keep it Batman adjacent. Action Comics has a lot of the other super Kryptonian people in it. So I kind of look at that like I kind of wish they would do that a little bit more. I think that would be cool, or to go back to the basics. Because to me, Batman has enough titles. Superman has plenty of titles. It'd be cool to see Action Comics and Detective Comics go back to Detective and Action, but I digress. Master Universe is the same thing. When you say Master Universe, 99% of people that know what it is are going to go, oh, you mean He-Man. So that argument is a really bad argument. Now, beyond the point, I digress again. I just want to point out Revolution was a lot better. The way how Skeletor was handled, Hordak, the whole thing, the villains, I like the story layout. It's a really quick watch. You could sit down and watch it in one sitting. It was pretty much the length of a movie. Maybe a little smidge longer than most movies. Maybe not nowadays. But the action was pretty good. The story was very focused. Like I said, there were some things that convenience. There were some things where it's like, okay. But it worked for what they were doing. So I was like, you know what? This, I don't know if they had new writers or what, but it's night and day. And no, that does not mean that Revelations was good now, because I've been seeing them lately go, Revelations was good the whole time. Like, I'm seeing people say that. No, I mean, if you liked it, great, but no, it's not good. The bait and switch, how they did the story was very ham-fisted. This one had a good flow. There was flavoring. I actually even like how they did the Teela and He-Man thing, because I think the best way I could put it is that the characters were acting like themselves. Like, Teela was like, Adam in the previous thing kind of acted like a petulant child, and Teela acted like she just couldn't be bothered, and Ender, just this whole thing where and the Evil End thing, like, I feel like the characters got back to basics on who they were, and whoever did it, the characters felt like themselves, and it really shined for the show. You see it in the trailer, Gwildor, that was for people like me. I get why some people are like, well, no, I know why Gwildor was created. I don't care. I like the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie. I'm still pissed off that they never made a sequel. I understand why they did not, but I really like that movie. The only thing that ever bothered me in that movie was the fact that he never turned into Prince Adam. But outside of that, I thought the movie was... I'm one of those people who just enjoyed that movie. I get it. It's a bad movie, whatever. Especially at the end with Skeletor, I'm like, I really wish they would have did another movie of that. But, you know, it happens. So I liked how they kind of tied this in with some fan service. They hinted back to the toys, so this is a little bit of spoiler territory. Giving you a second now. I like what they did with Teela and the different staffs. I thought that was awesome. It felt much more balanced across the board with all the characters. They felt more balanced. It wasn't just a full He-Man story. It was a Teela story. It was Man-at-Arms. Because the other reason why I had an issue when people throw that Master of the Universe, it wasn't called He-Man in the Master Universe. I felt like, okay, then why was it the Teela show? It could have been called Teela in the Master Universe. If it was going to be about the Masters of the Universe, then where was the rest of the Masters? You know, like you see Fisto and Claptrap like towards it, like, you know, they're one part, and Buzz off and all, and Slam Man was barely there, where this one you actually got to see a lot of the characters show up and do something. And I'm like, yeah, if you're going to make something about Master Universe with no He-Man, I want the other characters, the other masters, to be front and center too. And in this one, they definitely did. It had some great villains, you know, some different villains that you've seen from across the board. And I just think it really worked out well. I know certain things had to be changed, probably because of rights or whatever, and they hinted to He-Man sister and stuff. But overall, I do feel like this was a much better, well to do, and I have to say I had a good time. So if you watched Revolution, tell me what you think. This is the best I could do without giving too many spoilers away. I do like the magic and technology thing. I like that in Thundercats as well. So I always enjoy that too. They said it in the trailer, so no spoiler. But that's all I really wanted to say about this. Like I said, way better than the previous two. Like Kevin Smith, yeah, it's in the top 10. So is Cowboy Bebop, and no one really liked that. So just being watched is one thing, but like I said, it took him once, twice, three times to get it right, which could have done this in the beginning. So yeah, but if you want to take a shot and watch it, and you're a Master Universe fan, I will say that I do feel like this is what we wanted. You would enjoy this a lot more. And yeah, one of these days I gotta sit down and watch the 3D one too. I know what it's about, but I'm just curious about it, like how they're going to change it or whatever. I like the way they progress the story, and if they keep it like this, I don't mind doing the 5-6 episodes and keeping it strong the way it was. But this was much more focused. I think changing out Sarah Michelle Gellar was a great move. I only had one thing that kind of really heavily annoyed me, but Tiffany Smith did a great job voicing her. Like I said, Tiffany Smith is someone I would like to see more of. So she's done some hosting for DC. Like, if you've seen her, she's actually, in my personal opinion, she's very good, and I think she did a great job. Like the character. The character herself wasn't horrible either. I was cool with it. It just, I felt it where they were trying to like say, see, she's over here, she's black, she's awesome. She's over here, she's black, she's awesome. She's over here, she's black, she's awesome. And I'm like, you don't really need to do that. You could have kind of pulled it back and just did it. More show than tell. But, you know, even then, I didn't find her completely annoying. It was just like, you could do a little more. Anyway, Geek Protagonist, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Like I said, I'd see it as a good time. See ya.